everybody, today we have a Windmere box fan. Now I paid way too much for this. Just gonna say that quite, the first thing. I indeed did get this from the thrift store where I I post pictures of things being extremely overpriced, and this was no exception. Always great when you can buy this is not a floor fan, this is a box fan, when you can buy a cheap, heavily used box fan for the same price that they cost brand new. However, I've never seen this model. I've never seen this, although it's probably not rare. It's definitely not valuable, and I did overpay, especially since it appears that the blades might be warped. I can't really tell. Anyway, this is a Windmere branded fan. Attached encased feet. Well, they're missing. Now, the curious thing about this is that this is a Lakewood fan, obviously. However, if you look, it's got the brace blades, not very rare in itself, but we'll flip it around to the back. And this still has the old style Marco motor. Now it does have the smaller shaft, but this is the same Marco motor that would have been used in the third generation, like 200i's and 223's. Of course, being a shaded pole motor. This stupid Kodak isn't going to focus in on that. And yes, this is indeed a Kodak. Beside the point, where was I? Oh yeah, this has the older style Marco motor. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. It's in pretty decent shape, or else I probably wouldn't have bought it. Somebody has obviously been in here, and I'm wondering if this might be some sort of a Franken fan. Maybe somebody who knows a bit more about this can chip in. You can see there, Lakewood Engineering and Manufacturing. And the cord, you see, is supposed to go through here. Somebody's obviously had the grills off, but also the grills are, both of them, upside down. You can see these are the feet. These are supposed to be on the bottom, and this one's missing a part of it there. Or not a part, what do you call that? A screw. I can fix that, but it's missing a screw. So somebody's very obviously been in here at some point. And I'm wondering if maybe these grills, or at least this blade set, is not original. I'm not sure. The blade says patent pending. This does look to be more pitched than your standard brace blade. Now, I actually like the old brace blade Lakewood fans. I have a couple of them, and by a couple I mean one, because I gave away a couple of them, because they're nothing special, and anyway, I've had a couple of them, I should say. And they are generally pretty powerful. The ones I've had the newer style PSC motor, though. I've never seen one with a McMillan motor. I don't know if this maybe was a 200i or something with the third generation blade set, and somebody swapped these onto here. But why would they have done that? I don't know. If this is some sort of Franken fan, that's cool, I guess. Anyway, let's see here. We got kilowatt. 120 volts. They're currently used to around here, especially in this back room here. I had around 110 volts, and if the AC kicked on or the heat kicked on, it went down to like 109, 108, and the power would go out all the time. Well, I don't know how well you can see it, but they're building like a neighborhood with 300 and some odd houses, and they've gone in and put like new power lines out at the street there, and ever since then, the lights are brighter, they don't flicker as much, and I have a proper voltage in here that doesn't drop when the air conditioning kicks on. So I guess they've upgraded that. The question is, will it go back to shit once all those other houses are running off of it? Anyway, let's see. Go back to here. I don't know what the current rating for this is. It might say, but I'm not going to bother. 0 right now. Go to low. Okay. quite honestly, this isn't bad. It's running at a lower RPM than most of the brace bladers with the PSC motors I've seen have, and it's moving about the same air, which is pretty decent. It's not as much as like a second generation or something like that, but it is pretty decent. We're drawing 56 watts, so it's definitely not a PSC motor there. A lot of people hate PSC motors and newer fans. Well, the newer fan part isn't the problem, because this is a PSC motor here. But yeah, these shaded pole motors, the bigger ones, are terribly inefficient. Not that that's too much of a problem, but there's something hitting the grill in here. What's going on? This screw. See, this missing screw is causing problems. But this is, let me shove something in here. There we go. And it fell down in the fan. Alright, let me shove something else in there. There we go. We're now drawing 96 watts on medium. And this is actually really decent as far as the airflow is. It's not a hurricane or anything. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't really have... Well, we can use this as sort of like an airflow meter type thing. Give it. Here you go. That doesn't really demonstrate it very well, does it? Anyway, point is, this thing's actually pretty quiet, and it is moving a good amount of air. Most of the brace blades do, but like I said, they're normally not this quiet because they run at a higher RPM. These blades seem to be more pitched than the brace bladers I've seen. Okay, on high speed, this thing is screaming at me. Although, stepping back, it's really not that loud. It's louder than the old ones would be, but this thing is actually moving quite a good amount of air. Like, it just blew that piece of paper over there off of the table. Let's see if I can demonstrate this. This actually has a little piece of metal hanging off of it too, so that's pretty decent. This thing is drawing 179 watts, which, you know, I've never measured the current that one of these Marco motors takes, but that seems to be a bit high. Honestly, I would think that's too much current. Look, you can see it's blowing that. It's moving a lot of air. The windings in here look good, though. They're not black or anything. The motor's not getting hot. Maybe that really is just how much current this thing draws. Go ahead and cut it off and see the spin down time, and then I'll see if it has a startup sound. Spin down time is actually a lot better than I thought it would be with these little lightweight brace blades on it. I wonder if somebody oiled this or something, because this thing spins really well. Alright, let's see if there's a startup sound, if this camera would even pick it up. Yeah, not really. $212 watts at startup. That seems excessive. I'll have to take it apart, flip these grills over, and like put it outside and run it for a couple hours and make sure nothing's gonna blow up here. But honestly, I don't think it is. That might just be how much current these things draw, and if that is the case, that is absurd. But it is a shaded pole motor. I know fan collectors like shaded pole motors, and well, I like them. They're simple and they basically never fail. But PSC motors are so much more efficient. And no, I'm not saying new fans are more efficient. Yes, newer fans, it's more common to see PSC motors, but they've existed for a long time. This is a PSC motor. This thing is more efficient. I wonder how much current this thing draws. Probably not that much. And this has got heavier blades on it. It's metal. It's a 16-inch fan. Let's just see Just out of curiosity how much current this thing uses. Yeah, so this thing running on high with the oscillation on is pulling 65 watts, 66, 65, 64. It's going to fluctuate a bit because the oscillation putting, you know, uneven, like it'll pull more. But 64 watts on high with the oscillation on, and this thing is an absolute tornado here. Yeah, that's a PSC motor for you. They're a lot more efficient, 65 watts. So, there you go. With shaded pole motors, a 60-watt motor is this little tiny thing here. Yeah. Anyway, that's not the point of the video. Yes, I paid way too much for this. Maybe someone who knows more about these things than I do can tell me if that is original or not. I'm not even going to ask if this is a reasonable price. I know it's not. Anyway, I also got, for some reason, this was not severely overpriced. If I can turn it around, that would be great. I got this Sony. See that Sony? Focus. It's a Sony receiver here. Multi-channel. It's a, oh, what do you call that shit? Surround sound receiver. I don't know how many watts per channel. It's K502P. And I plan on putting it here next to my TV in place of this Lafayette receiver. This one's nice, but the problem with that one is that it doesn't support a remote control. I'm sure this probably does. There's an IR sensor right there, so this I can probably program a remote. I might even have a Sony remote that'll work with it. So, yeah. I'm going to try putting it in place of that. Or if it's better than the one I'm using there for my actual main stereo setup, I might put it there. It looks bigger, but that doesn't really mean anything. But I might put it there and run my STV893s with that, and then put that one here to run these, which are... These are STV420Ms, and then I've also got, if I could get the cover to go back on, I've also got some just like cheap, they're boombox speakers basically, but it's only 2-channel, but basically I've got left and right up here, and then I've got the other 2 back here. Of course with this one it's surround sound, but I think you need more than... I wonder if you can just do front and rear. But then again, the TV's only outputting, you can see front, center, surround. So I would think front, and then surround, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a stereo guy. But yeah, this is a Sony STR K50 K502P. This was more than it used to would have cost at that same place, maybe, you know, 2 or 3 years ago. But it's still not an absurd price. Anyway, that's not the point of this video either. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.